In today's world, where distractions are endless and deceit lurks around every corner, we often fool ourselves into believing that everyone we interact with has our best interests at heart. But beneath the surface of politeness and friendliness, there can be hidden motives, and not everyone who smiles at you is genuinely kind. The Stoic philosophers, especially Epictetus and Seneca, understood this well. They taught us that the ability to discern the true intentions of others is not just an advantage, it's a necessity for maintaining inner peace and protecting our lives from chaos. What if I told you that the people you trust most, those you call friends or colleagues, might not be the harmless figures they appear to be? They could be plotting your downfall, all while wearing a mask of friendship. This isn't paranoia, it's wisdom in action. The Stoics warn that we must stay vigilant, always observing patterns and behaviors that could undermine our peace of mind. Today we'll explore 5 subtle yet powerful signs that someone in your life may be secretly working against you. These signs are often the first whispers of something far more sinister, and by learning to spot them, you're not just protecting yourself, you're learning to navigate the treacherous waters of modern life. So let's dive in. Let's begin with the first sign, the silent observer. This is one of the most unsettling signs, yet it's also one of the easiest to overlook. This person doesn't just observe you, they study you. They remember every little detail about your habits, your schedule, and even your preferences, things you've never directly shared with anyone. They know how you take your coffee, what time you usually go for a run, and what types of books you're drawn to at the bookstore. Imagine this. You walk into your usual cafe, and there they are, sitting at a table nearby. You don't recall inviting them, yet they're always around. You go to your favorite gym, and somehow they seem to show up at the exact same time you do. At first, it may feel like a coincidence, a strange twist of fate, perhaps. But if you pay closer attention, you'll start to notice patterns. These little encounters aren't as random as they seem. The real danger lies in the fact that this person doesn't make their presence known directly. They don't speak to you. They don't act in any way that would alert you to their intentions. Instead, they simply observe you from the sidelines, patiently, without any clear indication of what they want. It's not immediately obvious that they're anything other than someone who just happens to be in your vicinity. In fact, they're weaponizing your suspicion. You start to second-guess yourself. Is this just my paranoia, or is something truly off here? You're no longer sure if you're picking up on subtle cues or if your mind is playing tricks on you. Let's break it down with a relatable example. Think about a person at work who always seems to show up in the same room when you're having lunch, or a neighbor who seems to know all the small details of your routine, but never approaches you directly. It's not overt, but over time, their subtle presence becomes a constant in your life. It's unsettling because it's quiet. There's no direct confrontation, no obvious sign of hostility, just a sense of being watched. From the perspective of Stoic philosophy, this is a reminder of the importance of vigilance and the ability to recognize patterns in our environment. As Epictetus said, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. If something feels off, trust that instinct. If you're uncomfortable with someone appearing too often in your life without explanation, don't brush it aside as a mere coincidence. This could be more than just an accidental overlap. It could be a deliberate observation. The second sign is the sabotage strategy, a subtle tactic that an enemy may use not only to cause you pain, but also to isolate you. The goal is not just to take revenge, but to disrupt your entire support network. This enemy doesn't just want to hurt you, they want to make you feel alone and powerless. This strategy is not about direct criticism, it's about innuendos, gentle remarks, and comments that are enough to create doubt. For example, during a meeting, a colleague might say, "I've noticed you've been a little distracted lately. Is everything okay?" Or in a casual conversation with a friend, they might softly mention, I heard you've been having some trouble at work. I hope you're doing okay. These kinds of remarks aren't just casual observations. They're seeds of doubt planted in the minds of others. Slowly but surely, these words will cause people to start viewing you differently, and the relationships you've built may start to unravel without anyone really understanding why. Over time, every encounter might start to feel charged with suspicion. Friends who used to confide in you begin to withdraw, and you find yourself excluded from important conversations or meetings. You might not have done anything wrong, but the enemy is quietly creating a distorted image of you, making you seem untrustworthy without ever directly criticizing you. This situation is particularly hard to identify because the sabotage is so subtle. Your adversary doesn't need to attack you directly. They just need to plant those innuendo-laden comments, those unclear questions that are enough to create doubt in the minds of others. From a Stoic perspective, this serves as a reminder to stay calm and not react emotionally. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The obstacle on the path becomes the path. What stands in the way becomes the way." When attacked in this subtle and multifaceted way, instead of letting your emotions take control, see it as an opportunity to assert yourself, to remain steady and truthful in the face of adversity. The third sign is the mask of the false friend. This is a highly subtle tactic that most people fail to recognize right away. We often have a natural tendency to trust those who treat us kindly and seem genuine. However, in these situations, kindness is just a mask. These individuals aren't looking to build a true friendship. They're building access to your life. At first, they may appear genuinely interested in you, always asking about your schedule, your relationships, and even your deepest fears or past traumas. They might say things like, "How have you been? You've seemed a little off lately." Or, "I noticed that you seem tense. What's been going on?" These questions may seem harmless, and they might even feel comforting, as if someone finally cares about your well-being. But in reality, these questions aren't meant to help you. They're collecting ammunition. Later, when they have gathered enough personal information, they may use your vulnerabilities against you. For instance, they might twist your words or subtly bring up your insecurities in front of others, planting doubt or confusion. This is especially dangerous because you'll feel heard, supported, and understood. Yet you're actually sharing too much and unknowingly becoming a target for someone with malicious intentions. Consider a situation where someone you've recently become close with starts asking deeply personal questions about your childhood, your fears, and your insecurities. At first, you might think of them as a caring friend, someone who just wants to understand you better. However, over time, you notice that they use your past struggles against you. They might bring up your childhood issues in group conversations or subtly hint at your past mistakes during private talks with others. These small betrayals don't seem like much at first, but they chip away at your trust and reputation. People like this aren't truly your friends. They're predators in disguise, hiding their true nature behind a friendly face. They want access to your vulnerabilities, and they will exploit them when the time is right. From a Stoic perspective, this situation serves as a reminder to be cautious with your trust. As Seneca wisely said, "A friend is someone to whom you entrust your soul, but trust must be earned. It is not something to be freely given to just anyone." This is a powerful lesson. When someone tries to get too close too quickly, and they seem more interested in your vulnerabilities than in your well-being, it's a warning sign. True friendship is built over time, and it requires mutual respect and understanding, not manipulation. The fourth sign is the gradual escalation of attacks. At first, the behavior might seem harmless, perhaps a few offhand jokes or comments that seem lighthearted, but upon reflection, these are actually testing signals. The purpose behind these jokes is to observe how you respond. Do you flinch? Do you feel uncomfortable? And most importantly, how far can they push your boundaries before you react? These seemingly innocent remarks might be things like, "Wow, you look like you've been through a war today." Or, "You're too sensitive. Can't you take a joke?" At first it seems harmless, just someone joking around. But these are trial balloons. They're testing to see if you'll stand your ground or if you'll laugh it off and let them keep pushing. If you don't respond, they feel empowered to take things further. As time goes on, the invasions become more blatant. They may start getting into your personal space without your consent, standing too close, interrupting your conversations, or even touching you in a way that feels uncomfortable. You might find that they linger too long in your presence, or that they show up unexpectedly at places you frequent, like your favorite coffee shop or gym. These small violations of your boundaries are not accidental. They are strategic moves designed to make you feel increasingly uneasy and unsure. Eventually, the behavior escalates into even more disturbing actions. Perhaps you find personal belongings of yours moved around, like your phone, keys, or even something private like your journal, placed in odd places where you would never leave them. Or you might notice strange items left in your environment, things that don't belong, like a gift with no explanation, or a note with a message that sends shivers down your spine. This gradual escalation is part of a testing strategy. It's a way for them to see how much they can get away with, how much control they can exert over you without you immediately pushing back. If you don't address these signals early, you might find yourself caught in a dangerous situation. For instance, imagine you're at work and a colleague starts making jokes about how you're always the last one to leave, or how you never stand up for yourself in meetings. At first, it seems like nothing more than friendly teasing. But then, that same colleague starts walking into your office without knocking, leaving things on your desk, or even commenting on personal details of your life that they shouldn't know. Over time, these small infringements build up, and your discomfort grows. But you may not realize that these actions are part of a deliberate escalation strategy. As Seneca wisely taught, vigilance and the ability to recognize malice are crucial for protecting yourself. If someone continuously crosses your boundaries, whether with words or actions, don't ignore these signs. Early intervention is key to maintaining control over your personal space and your well-being. The fifth and final sign is the patient predator. This is perhaps the most dangerous type of enemy and the one most difficult to recognize. Unlike others who might act impulsively, driven by anger or immediate frustration, the patient predator takes their time. They are in no rush. They play a long game, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, and they will do whatever it takes to build an image of trust and reliability in your eyes and the eyes of those around you, creating an environment where you feel comfortable so that when you let your guard down, they can make their move. What makes these predators so terrifying is not what they do, but how they do it. Their approach is slow and deliberate. They don't act hastily. They carefully cultivate trust over time. You might find that they begin by being overly helpful, offering assistance when you don't ask for it, or giving you advice that seems to come from a place of genuine care. They will tell you what you want to hear, reinforce your strengths, and make you feel understood. The more you rely on them, the deeper they burrow into your life. For example, think of someone who always seems to show up when you're struggling, offering a sympathetic ear or advice on how to deal with a difficult situation. They may even express how much they admire your strength, making you feel safe and validated. Over time, you start trusting them more, relying on their input and confiding in them about personal matters. But here's the catch. Every piece of information they gather is ammunition for when they need it. They're not helping you out of the goodness of their heart. They're preparing for the moment when they can use that information to manipulate or hurt you. This might not be immediately obvious. For instance, imagine you're going through a tough time at work, and a colleague steps in, offering to help you navigate office politics or manage relationships with supervisors. They seem like a lifeline. But over time, you realize they've started shaping how others perceive you, subtly directing conversations about your work performance or personal challenges in ways that make you look weak or unreliable. When they finally make their move, you'll be blindsided because by then, They will have gained your trust and embedded themselves in your life so deeply that you won't see their betrayal coming. They'll know exactly how to undermine you, either by spreading rumors, sabotaging your opportunities, or even using your own weaknesses against you. The key to protecting yourself from such a predator lies in the ability to remain vigilant and aware of the longer-term dynamics at play. In Stoic philosophy, self-control and mental clarity are emphasized as essential tools for dealing with adversity. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In these situations, rather than reacting emotionally or impulsively, take a step back and evaluate the long-term motivations of those around you. Are they genuinely helping, or are they positioning themselves for a future advantage? By maintaining a sense of awareness and control over your emotions, you can avoid falling into the trap of a predator's calculated manipulation. Never forget that, like a predator in the wild, these individuals rely on patience and timing, waiting for you to become too comfortable before striking. By staying alert and cautious, you deny them the opportunity to take advantage of your trust. If, during the course of watching this video, you've noticed someone in your life exhibiting any of the signs mentioned, don't ignore it. Don't convince yourself that it's just excessive worry. These individuals are not merely hidden enemies. They could be strategically planning to destroy your life in ways you might not even recognize until it's too late. It's crucial to understand that the danger isn't always immediate, nor is it always obvious. These subtle tactics, these quiet manipulations, can erode your sense of safety, trust, and confidence before you even realize what's happening. And by the time you do, it could be much harder to undo the damage. Always remain vigilant. Protect yourself not only physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. Understand that the real threat might not show up as an open confrontation. It's often in the shadows, carefully disguised under a mask of kindness, patience, or familiarity. But most importantly, stay aware. Your peace of mind and your personal well-being are worth defending. Keep nurturing your ability to read between the lines and trust your instincts. If this video resonated with you, make sure you don't miss out on our upcoming videos. We'll continue to explore deeper topics on toxic relationships, personal growth, and how to identify and defend against the silent threats in your life. So subscribe, stay tuned, and get ready to strengthen your emotional armor. The next video is coming soon, and it's one you won't want to miss.